You have no idea what a pleasure it is to say, welcome to the rebellion! We're taking 5 sites in London today. We're in 33 countries today. We're not even 6 months old.
I'm Dr. Gail Bradbrook. I'm from Yorkshire originally. I live in Gloucestershire and I'm a co-founder of Extinction Rebellion. I'm a mother. I've got 2 boys. They're 11 and 13. My dad was a coal miner and I have spent my life feeling a little bit of a fraud, like I'm not supposed to be in the room, like trying to be a scientist as a woman and a working class woman. I know what it feels like to feel like somebody else knows what's going on. Working people find it hard to make ends meet and they don't have a choice in conventional politics. The democracy we have right now is essentially deeply flawed, deeply flawed. It is okay for lobbyists who have billions of pounds of money to spend on these issues to be constantly in government pushing for their agendas, which is generally to do with self-interest and money making, not the interest of the ordinary person. I think it's a deeply toxic system. It's got this machinery based on the idea that we have to have constant economic growth. And you can't have constant economic growth on a finite planet. I mean, Brexit is an irrelevance when you look at the climate and ecological crisis. The mother of all crises means that it's quite possible that all life on Earth, 97% of it, is going to go, and possibly in my children's lifetime. Conventional politics is fucked. It's finished. The question is not what needs to happen and what the problems are. The question is, how do things change? We've got an ongoing tradition of civil disobedience in this country. When the suffragettes smashed windows, which is what they did, they weren't directly affecting democracy. They were saying, we are angry and we demand our vote. And every other form of reformist type of approach for women getting the vote had been tried and they hadn't succeeded. Our complicity really is our silence and our separation from each other. And so what we're doing in Extinction Rebellion is saying it's time to really come together and express our power. It shouldn't be left to politicians and it shouldn't be left simply to experts. It needs the voice of the people, and people need to understand what the implications of any policy is and be able to say, yeah, that's going to be difficult, but we're willing to do it because the situation's so dire. To create a new form of politics, we have to do it together, right? That's the point. We have to figure it out together. There are ways in which people can have a voice. We want to have a citizens' assembly, and I think that's a really exciting innovation for a campaign to be calling for that. We would take, I think it's around 1,000 people by sortition, by selection like you would for a jury, and they would look at the reality of this situation. And if they don't know it, they'll be shocked and frightened. And then they'll be presented with potential solutions and they'll need to come up with a package for the UK. As privileged white Western people, we've been largely ignoring this issue.
Coming from Sierra Leone, I see things like plastic waste. We complain about it over here, but if you go to countries that are less fortunate than the West, it's 10 times worse over there. So we need to all make a conscious effort to work together. This is our Earth, it's our planet. We need to save it.
Kofi Mao-Liclou is my full name. Originally from Ghana in West Africa. I describe myself as a Pan-African community advocate for global justice. In school, we learned a lot about, Greece, Athenian democracy, and all of that. But for me, what was there before Athens? The fact that not much is said about that is hugely problematic. And if we just could make the connections to the past, then we'll see that actually the challenge to take democracy further could enable humanity to peacefully resolve a lot of the challenges that today are presented as if they are so huge, and insurmountable. So each generation has this challenge of advancing the frontiers of what previous generations have done. And I think that what Extinction Rebellion is trying to do is lift all of the present generations to accomplish the tasks of our time.
The idea is, in other cultures, in indigenous cultures, is that the ancestors are honoured. Those that went before, they stood out for life, they did things for life, and you know that you've got 7 generations in front of you. And I think that climate injustice is coming home to an intergenerational injustice. It's like, for our today, we're fucking up your tomorrow. We're stealing your tomorrow. It's deeply unjust. Sometimes when I try and talk to other parents about this, they're like, dude, don't tell me about that, woohoo. This civilization's finished. It's finished, whether you like it or not. If we have 3 years of really bad El Nino weather events, the food systems are fucked and we'll be fighting over cans of beans. We really are at a crossroads. What we choose to do today is the difference between life and death on Earth. We've got to make something more beautiful and more connected and more local. Lives are short, lives start and they end, and you've got to do something wild and amazing with that time. Grief is the price we pay for love, and from love comes courage. And that's when you say, I've had enough of this, and that's when you get on the streets.